You're a presenter. You should be able to turn on your camera.
No.
TSD, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we cannot get the room computer and camera on.
Oh. Which room are you guys in?
100B, 100B.
100B. That's strange. Everything was working earlier today. Oh shoot.
It's
Okay. Let's see here. If you on the computer, if you in the bottom left, if you type in like camera to open the camera app, can you see yourself if you do that?
well, like the monitor in the room acts like a PC is not connected to it.
Oh, okay.
You want me? I can turn my camera on my computer on and show you what the monitor looks like.
Yeah,
So
that might work. We could try that. Okay. Is the computer on?
Is the computer
Where's the
on?
computer at?
I thought we're only by a remote connection. I don't think we actually have a physical PC in this space, a network.
It
Share.
okay. Well, shoot.
Hang
I'm
on.
not close to the office. If I drive back there, it'll probably take me like 15, 20 minutes maybe to get there.
Oh wait, hang on. Well, the camera just acted like it turned on and then it turned off.
Yeah, so you're doing it with that.
Oh, that remote is just the camera.
Yeah, that's there's a remote for the camera, but it looks like the computer for some reason is off or something's wrong with it.
And is that this Logitech box that's sitting next to the camera, or
No, the computer is somewhere else.
Okay.
I forget exactly where it is in that room. I think it's like on the ceiling somewhere. So
okay?
Grab a chair, any chair.
Well, I mean, it won't be ideal, but I can just set my computer up here, and it'll capture the room.
okay. Is there a USB to the camera that you might be able to use? Because you could plug that into your laptop, so that way you can use the camera on that and the speaker system. I don't know if it's something that can be easily swapped, but yeah, the computer should be up there. If it's not on.
This guy.
This is the camera, I think.
Yes, you're right.
But I mean, the sound is for minute purposes and stuff is, but and cats, but that's got the room there. So
I mean, I can see you just fine. The problem is that the laptop's built-in microphone isn't gonna catch your voices very well.
yeah, that's
That would be the computer there.
Yeah.
Was it turned off?
I think we got some.
Looks like it.
Look at there.
Okay, awesome.
Keep going up.
There we go.
Turn this
We got tech services logo up there now.
That's why we voted you to be the captain of this ship.
Yeah, I don't know what happened because that was working earlier today. So
Well, I don't know how it got turned off, but at least it looks to be booting up right now. So, and there's a cursor on the screen. Progress.
The one up there actually. After the meeting.
So. So you probably need to hit the keyboard. There you go. You need the username and password.
Yeah, what is that?
You got it?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be okay. Thank you, sir.
Alrighty, I mean, I'll be here for the meeting. So,
Okay.
as soon as whoever gets signed in, I'll make sure that they're promoted as a presenter.
All right.
There we go.
All right, it's not accepting our generic Teams login on the computer.
Like you're not able to get to the desktop at all, or
Yeah, it's asking for a username and password, and the one that Greg set up for us, I don't know how long ago, that we've always used, is not working. Now it's a / not a backslash.
I'm gonna try something then.
you can try joining in with like your regular domain account. I think you have that, Tom. I think if you just use your county login credentials, you can get into that PC.
Well, that's just it. I don't have county login credentials because
Oh,
we're
okay. I
separate.
thought you did for some reason.
Yeah, we're technically a separate entity from the county.
Okay. I just thought you specifically had one for some reason, but I was mistaken.
No.
Okay.
I think our CAC used to have one, and then when Greg set up this generic one, he disabled that one.
Okay.
Now it's above the username and login, it says other user. I don't know if that's what it normally says or not.
No, I'm not sure if I don't recall if that particular one had like a public like local login that anyone could use. I don't recall that being a thing with that particular one.
Well, I mean, this is the room this group has always met in, and this is the login
I
we've
know it
always
is. I
used.
just um
So somebody sabotaged us.
Clearly, because it was turned off and now it's not recognizing any of the logins. Like, I don't know what's going on over there. I'm trying to figure out. There's not really anything I can do remotely as far as account management.
Yeah, I guess we'll just go back to my laptop and have to speak loudly.
No, no. Like I said, I can head down there and get signed into it, and then we can use that system because your laptop's not going to pick up any of your voices. We'll see you, but we're not going to be able to hear
Well-
anything. No one.
Okay, well, you said you weren't at the office, so
No, I'm not. I'd have to drive over there to you. I'm on the south side of Bloomington, Perry Township, over here.
you're got a
Except
backslash. It's a forward slash.
Township.
It's
But yeah, I can start heading your way, and I'll get you signed in, and we can get the meeting started. All right.
okay.
See you in 10.
All right, thanks.
Do we need to capitalize the TNT?
I can't remember if we've been through this before. Is it a square?
It's working through this camera.
Where's the sound? Is that, we get the sound through there?
Yeah, it's gonna pick your voice up for that.
Oh, cool.
As far as figuring out how well we can hear, I don't know.
Joe, you're on. You want to run out in the hall and see if you can hear us or? Feedback.
Take your computer with you.
Can you hear us, Joe?
Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2, 3.
How come they don't count any higher than 3?
Testing.
Hey, Mom, let me show you how good I can count. I'll let you do 3. Yeah, you're getting good audio. Get a good picture, Joe?
Yes. Were you able to hear us? Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, everything's working.
Well, sorry to drag you down here.
No, I don't know what's going on with it. It just doesn't recognize the line for some reason.
Do I need to contact the help desk or something or?
No, I can take care of that tomorrow.
Why would you want to contact the health desk? Just to see what kind of health it's got?
We gotta get the login figured. Or get a new one set up. No, I got a USB-C.
No, that's right.
What's that got to do with the health department?
I said help desk.
Oh, the help desk.
I'm still over half.
Okay. So that means we got about 45 more minutes.
Well, I was gonna go the extra mile and try to get the TV
That's all right.
at this point.
It's, I mean, there's cats is the only.
Another on here, so thank you, Elijah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gonna call the meeting in order now. How was that?
Okay, we'll call this to order this regular meeting of the Waste Reduction District of Monroe County Citizens Advisory Committee. This is the third Thursday, of September the 19th, 2024 at 6:15 p.m. We apologize for the technical difficulties as we were supposed to start at 5:30. Will the vice chair please call roll?
Yes, John Arnold.
Here and sleeping.
Here. Okay, Matt Austin,
President.
Bill Coynes,
Present.
Brad Lucas,
Here.
Paul White,
Here.
Joseph Winia is here. And all here.
Thank you. Today's agenda was distributed by email and Dropbox on Tuesday, August 17th, 2024. Are there any objections to adopting the agenda as distributed? Seeing none, the agenda is adopted. Approval of meeting minutes. The minutes for the August 2024 regular meeting have been distributed by email and Dropbox on Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. Are there any corrections? All right. If there are no corrections, then the minutes are approved as shown and distributed. On to reports from officers in the district. Senor Tom.
I apologize. I lost my ability to view the agenda, so I can pull up any information.
From your memory.
From my memory. So at this point, everybody's aware, our board did approve the 2025 budget. We had the county council work session on that. I guess 10 days ago, not Tuesday of last week. That seemed to go pretty well. The county council voted unanimously to move it forward through the adoption process. So I think October 8th or 9th is the public hearing. It's the Tuesday of the conference. It always is the Tuesday of the conference. But at any rate, after the work session, I'm fairly confident that, barring something unforeseen happening during the public hearing or something, that the budget will go through. And then we did, at the board meeting last Thursday, the board did instruct staff to issue the RFP for recycling, processing, MSW disposal material hauling services.
which are the same services we're currently under contract with Republic Services for. The instructions were to issue the RFP and not make any notice to Republic regarding our current contract. The idea or thought being that, in the RFP, we reserve the right to reject any and all bids. So if things come back and don't look like it puts us in a better position for anything, we can just reject all bids and continue on with Republic Services. The caveat there being Republic has the option to provide that same notice to terminate the contract. So we'll see where that goes, but the contract termination notice is 120 days, which gives us ample time to go through the RFP process, make an award if needed or desired, and get a contract services started. Association conference is coming up here in a couple of weeks, the 8th and 9th. I still haven't got confirmation from everybody on what exactly wanted to attend. So I think I've got John, Joe, and Matt registered. I think everybody at the last meeting said they were interested in attending, but no, I mean, there's options to attend just the Tuesday or just the Wednesday or both days. There's an optional social event Tuesday evening. I don't know that we know where that is. Usually it's somewhere just to hang out, network, socialize, have some appetizers and drinks. And there's on Tuesday, there's a tour at the Wonder Lab that they do need a head count for. And then also a second tour later in the afternoon at the IU surplus store that they need a head count for. So I do need to know, there's still time to register, but I do need to know who's going, who wants to go to what to do that. So, and I can't look it up. Unfortunately, prices did go up this week. There was an early bird discount, but so you're currently at $825 on registration fees. So between your training and education and your travel budget would be available because there's no travel involved because it's in town. You have a total of $1,500 available. There is another $500 in the surplus category. The board would have to move that from some supplies to services, but I also think that between all the district departments, we could probably come up with a few $100s if you guys go a little bit over.
Is the fee the same when you can one or both?
No. One day is cheaper than both days, and the Wonder Lab tour does have a $10 fee on it. That was given us. But that's fine. There's nothing wrong with supporting Wonder Lab. It's a great facility and a great service for this community. So at any rate, and that's, I don't have to know right this minute, but if you guys want to tell me tonight, that's fine. If you want to shoot me an email the next day or two, but I would like to get the registration done, wrapped up by the end of this week. So that I can get something off of my plate. Yeah, let's see, we are currently being audited by State Board of Accounts. It is what it is. This covers the period of 2020, the years 2020, 21, 22, and 23, which also covers a time where we had a lot of turnover in the control. And so there are things and discrepancies and errors that we're trying to reconcile and figure out whether or not any of that reports in what's called a finding, which would be where SBOA determines that we did something wrong that warranted. It's not that we get fined or we don't get shut down, but it's something that they're saying this is wrong and you need to fix it and correct whatever caused it to happen. So whether or not we, results in any of that, that we don't know. The examiner that we're dealing with has been great to work with, and has been pretty positive in her comments with Kathy and I. But at the same time, acknowledging that, there's some things here that you need to figure out before I'm done, or we may have some issues. So we'll see where that winds up. Other than that, I don't know. It's been a long couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
How long does the audit usually take? If you have an idea, like, is it a week?
For us, it's generally, I mean, a couple of weeks. Well, it's a couple of weeks for them to be on site, getting information and they have a, they'll randomly say, I want to see this bill that was paid on June 3rd of 2021. And we got to go find it. We got to go find the invoice, the voucher, the check copy, which are usually all together, but, so I don't remember if I told you guys that that's not been as bad as it would have otherwise been, because we had a lady named Ashley Craner working with us for the past month or so on a records retention project. So she's actually been going through and inventorying and cataloging all that stuff. So I knew exactly what box it was in when she wanted it, where that box was.
Well, that's super positive.
And was it there where you thought it was?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's great.
So digging them out wasn't as bad as it has been in years past. But anyway, it's a couple of weeks, and they just randomly pull samples of, the documentation of paying a bill, receiving cash in, payroll. And then it'll be, another 2 to 3 weeks for them to generate their report. And then there'll be what's called an exit conference, where they'll come down and go review the report with staff and at least the board chair, maybe other board members if they want to attend, and we see what they, if they say that we have to make any changes or do anything, and we make it happen.
I mean, they won't shut you down. They'll just write you up if you're negative.
Yeah, no, they're not. It shuts down. I mean, it's not like we're missing hundreds of thousands of dollars. The money's all there, and we believe the money is all there. We just have to find where the discrepancies or the errors are on the books. Because there's periods where we had more money in the bank than the book said, and vice versa. But and I'm gonna, I know the time periods of when those things occurred from talking with her, and it's like I said, we had a lot of turnover in that controller position. Fortunately, I think that just led to some omissions and some errors, and track down where those were, and make the corrections we need to make.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Okay, thank you very much for your report. As for the chair report, I sent out an email right before the meeting with an article in the Herald Times that highlights a neighborhood recycling project, a pilot program, and they highlighted Republic, they highlighted Rumpke as well, they highlighted Commission on Sustainability, and they did also highlight the Waste Reduction District, and the fact that you guys collect razors and bathroom stuff as well. So a little bit of promotion, so that's kind of cool. And then as for the quick update on the Bokashi pilot, the community orchard has approved for pits to be there, and those pits were outlined and were starting to be dug, and there's been a cover developed for safety reasons and also aesthetically it's very pleasing. Cover that can be reused on each one of the pits. So we're moving forward with that, and I presented that to because the commissioners seemed very favorable about it. We should get a positive vote on that, but there's still some issues that need to be ironed out before it can fully be presented to because for a vote, as well as the, not the exec committee, the board of directors of the waste reduction district. And yeah, that's what I have for the chair report. Any questions?
Are you still planning on me to attend the next BCOS meeting?
Yes.
Which I think is at the same time as my public hearing. But
Yes, yeah.
they're as quick as I can.
He said it was gonna be 5 o'clock. It goes 6 to 7:30, so I'll have the,
You know, the BCOS meeting does.
yeah, 6 to 7:30, so I'll push my report, a presentation a little bit further back.
Okay.
If you want to get to that.
6:30 shouldn't be a problem.
Okay,
So,
thank you for letting me know that.
yeah, I'll, as we get closer, I'll touch base with you. A lot of it will depend on where we fall on the public hearing agenda. But
Gotcha.
usually we're up toward the front, and unless there's any members of the public there to make comments on our budget, it goes pretty quick.
Okay. Question?
Does the community orchard fit the expected volume generation for the collection?
To be determined. So right now, the area is 80 square feet. It's 2 pits that are 3 feet wide by 8 feet long with a 4-foot walking path or wheelbarrow path in between.
How deep is the pit?
It can be as deep as you want. We suggested 24 inches, and the chair came back and said that would be too deep. So we're expecting somewhere between 12 and 18 inches.
Really?
Yeah, just for safety issues. But once the pit starts getting used, we hope that they'll dig it deeper because 2 24-inch pits is equal to 4 12-inch pits. And then Garden Quest has also designed a above ground composting system. It's a worm composting system. The in-ground one is actually at Wonder Lab, and it's also installed at Child's Elementary.
Kind of like an elevated garden.
Not exactly. It's plastic vats
Okay.
that are sunk into the ground, and then there's doors between each one so
Uh-huh.
that you can close them off so that the worms stay in one, or you can open them up so they can travel between them.
Okay.
The above ground one costs less because you don't have to deal with digging it into the ground. And we found that that there's 4 of these containers in the system, and each container can take 3 of the bokashi buckets, which is approximately 60 pounds of food. And it takes 3 months for it to turn from food waste into soil. And so what we found is that a family of 5 will do about 1 bucket every 2 to 3 weeks. So that would enable that system to take care of a family of 5 with all their food waste based on the amount of containers, the 4 containers will turn over in that 3 months. You still have it open. So that's another option for folks that can't dig into their ground.
And you use like chicken bones.
Bones, meat, oils, dairy, all of that goes in. So it's designed to simplify it so you don't have to really think about it.
The pits, is there, you take it down, you're dumping the bucket material in there. Is there a minimum or a set, how many inches of soil are you putting on top of it?
So you're gonna put 2 inches of give or take 2 inches of the food waste. And so the reason we did 8 feet wide is essentially you have 2 of these covers and you alternate. You put them on this side first and then you put it on that side, back and forth. Okay. And so you'll usually put 1 inch to 2 inches of soil on top, and then the top layer you want to do 3 or 4 inches. So if you've got a 6-inch pit, you'll be able to get 2 layers. If you've got a 12-inch pit, you'll be able to get approximately 4 layers of food waste. But those pits you'll be able to do anywhere from 4 to 8 buckets of food waste per layer, just depending on how full they are. Because some people turn them in and the buckets are half full. Some people it's completely full. But we see anywhere from like 16, 17 pounds of food waste up to 25 pounds. So additional questions. Okay. So reports of special committees, the Organics Waste Task Force, Community Composting Survey. That what?
I had visual things that I planned on sharing.
I think Elijah said he made you a presenter.
Yes, I just made.
On the big screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to share it. It was just kind of a forewarning that I don't know how well this is going to go. Right.
But it will at least show up on the replay on
Yeah.
stream.
That's true.
So you can go back and watch that, so.
Should be doing right now, but I don't see it.
Hey,
Okay. So it's sharing my whole screen. And so basically, so contact organics task force. Nope, yes. Organic waste task force, thank you. I was gonna say something. We have been working on exploring a neighborhood style collective composting program. I think. Still sharing.
Yeah.
no sharing.
Sorry, let me try.
Usually that's that. I've lost your. Okay. Okay, so we've been exploring an opportunity to do like a community shared composting program where people who are composting already and are willing to accept waste can take food waste from neighbors who aren't composting but want their food to be composted. So we basically created a survey to find out who's already composting and would take more, and who is not composting and wants someone to take their food waste. And that was just emailed out to the, what does CONA stand for?
Something neighborhood, so.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah. Committee of Neighborhood Associations?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
essentially the umbrella of neighborhood associations within the city of Bloomington, I think it's restricted to. So it was sent out to the mailing list to all of the neighborhood mailing lists. And that was just about a week ago, I think.
And I did go to their last meeting and let the president know about that as well. And he was very positive about the idea and was enthusiastic to send it out, said that he thought it was good.
So on the screen share, what I have, and I'll just kind of describe to you, is the flow of the questions. So it's basically, like I said, just trying to find out who is composting, who isn't, who can take waste, who can't. And then if they're not composting, why? So I was just going to note that the results so far is about 37 responses. About almost exactly 2/3 of people are already composting. There's, I guess, the most common reasons that people aren't composting is space on the property and concern about pests and odors. Also about 2/3 of those who are not composting said they would if they received educational material or a stipend for equipment. So there's already a lot of people composting and a lot of interest. And about 80% of the people who are not composting said they would be interested in bringing it to someone who is. Just five people who answered. About half, a little more than half the people who are composting would take waste from neighbors. And yeah, I guess that's really about the most important part of it. About 3/4 of those who responded are in single family houses. That's the predominant case. So all that said, kind of early indications are that it looks like there is good interest for it out of the 35 people who have responded. Obviously, a lot more people will be a lot more informative, but that's where it stands. Just thought I would fill everybody in on that process. That it seems to be going well.
And we also planned, and I'm a little behind on my end on that, but we are going to produce flyers with QR code that will link to the online survey. We're going to put up at district recycling centers, distribute to some faith-based organizations, community centers, and places like that. Generate more response.
Yeah, so I guess invitation to everyone, if they know anybody or have any networks they're connected to and want to connect those people to this survey. We'll have, we can provide links, we can provide flyers. Let us know if there's anything that you want to join in on for that. And the printed version is tiny on the left side of the screen if you wanted to see roughly what it looks like. But that is, I think, everything for that.
And I just want to commend Joe. He's put a lot of work into this. So I just want to say, great job. Very grateful.
Thank you. And a team effort.
I think, you know, I don't know how many people it went out to, but you know, almost 40 responses in a week. I'm not gonna complain about that.
Yeah.
People are paying attention.
Yeah, I think it's off to quite a good start. I'll also be interested to see what the sort of printed versions and posted versions will help add to that as well in the near future.
And the task force is scheduled to begin Monday.
Yes.
If anybody has any ideas, and I'm sure that we'll do some more brainstorming on, you know, if there's other areas or people or groups to get that email or QR code out to and
I'm sure I can,
expand our reach as much as we can.
I'm sure I could post some of that type of information in our church.
Yeah, we'd already identified a faith-based organization, so, but yeah, be happy if you're already going to one of the churches, then he lets you take it with you.
Any questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, moving on to new business. Joseph has a idea about a CAC lanyard proposal.
So yeah, this is also something that I had in mind. We budgeted funding for supplies last year for this calendar year. We have talked about basically just having some branding for the CAC. And one opportunity, maybe I guess the first question is, with the expenses for particularly the conference, and were any of the expenses that we just talked about a moment ago related to the supplies, or I guess the total CAC budget? Is there?
Well, other than the conference, what have I missed?
Oh, you had mentioned earlier the papers that you were signing. You said those were related to the CAC budget. Was that a
Well,
misunderstanding?
yeah, but that comes out of those are the.
Oh, that's what it's for.
That's not out of the training.
So I know where we stand then. Okay, so this is still pertinent. I just wanted to make sure.
So the $1,500 bucket and the $500 bucket are still separate.
Right, okay.
And the $500 bucket is still full.
Okay, yes. So we still have that $500 allocation then to supplies. And the supply that I wanted to propose, or am going to propose, is lanyards with like a Citizens Advisory Committee badge. Because essentially it's low impact, it's reusable, and I figured they could also be used for the district too, if the district wanted to use them for anything in particular, because they're order minimums that are higher than we need in order to get them printed.
What's your minimum?
So I guess that depends. The options that are made out of like natural materials, like a bamboo cotton blend, are like 100 pieces minimum.
I was just going to remind you that the CAC membership is capped at 15.
Right.
So just because there's only 6 now, doesn't mean that 6 months from now, there's not 10.
True, right. No, I was thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of like a maximum of 50 lanyards. Because I figured that would be more than enough to cover the CAC, have some for the district and have some extra on hand. But I figured 100 is just, it's unnecessary and would be very expensive. It would be like $300 for half of which we don't need the end product of. So that's one of the things I'll mention a little bit later. But the, I guess, premise was that it would be a low impact, like nice thing that we could use, reuse, and be branded with. And this was another thing that I planned to show on the screen share. But basically, I just imagined it being the text parts of the district's logo, where it's Waste Reduction District of Monroe County, and our world, our responsibility. So it's possible to see from here.
Was there a separate pricing for the badge part of it in the lanyard, or was it just one?
Correct. So maybe, talking about the cost of things, what I found was badges, like paper badges, can be printed for about $2 a badge. And then the lanyards, at least at the lowest quantity costs, were about $3. So that would be basically $5 for each, but If we were to have 50 of them, that would be $250. So that was, I figured, a fair amount, pretty reasonable. I think there were a couple of other, maybe like shipping and setup costs. That would be maybe $50 more in total.
Well, I was just thinking, there's like 7 of us in this room. If we all needed one, I can probably come up with 7 lanyards from this stuff I have with Special Olympics. I get a new one every year when I go to summer games.
These, I guess, well, that's an interesting idea. The concept I had in mind was actually custom printed lanyards. So the lanyards say on them like Waste Reduction District and the slogan, our
Just
responsibility.
Just a thought, if we were gonna have to get 2,000 lanyards, you know.
Right,
If that's the case, I have 50 blue lanyards
right,
with, metal clip on.
Yeah,
I'm fine with,
okay.
that I got from somewhere else for free, so.
and we could always take a thing of our logo over to Mr. Copy or some other.
Right,
printer here,
right.
Have them made, and we can get plastic sleeves anywhere.
So it's good to keep in mind, maybe in that case, again, maybe the timeline worth noting, that I was hoping to have these prepared by conference time.
But I love the idea.
Put them to use. Okay, that's good. Yeah, maybe first go around in general, not necessarily a vote, but is there anybody who is not interested in this as a use for the supplies funding, or thinks that it would be better spent differently? Okay. General interest in the idea. What, again, so the timeline was, I was hoping to, if there was interest, to be able to have something ready by the conference, to be able to put them to use. Obviously, that's not.
There'll be another conference next year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not a deal breaker. It's not the only conference. We could get them later, but that's just why I
We
was
get a magic marker right on our hands.
interesting. But at the very least,
I
that's
think
it.
it's, I think it's a very good idea.
Yeah,
Well, at the very least, you know, the money's appropriated this year.
Right,
So if it's not spent by December 31st.
Yeah.
right. So yeah, the goal is if we don't, if we can decide on it now, we could potentially have them ready for the conference. If we
Right.
don't, we
If
could.
it's something that you want to do, even if it's not for the conference this year, go ahead and move this forward
Right.
and get them bought this year, so don't lose the appropriation.
Okay,
Although I think you do have the same appropriation.
yes, we do.
we do have a logo that could be reproduced by any of the printers in town, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I print it off at work all the time.
right. I have a copy too.
I don't. No.
So is this something we can vote on?
Yeah, so maybe I guess the last item was, I actually talked to Freethink, the apparel printing company that's right here in town. And what I learned from them is they have their own lanyard that they could print in-house and have ready in time at like $3 a lanyard, but it's a poly fiber. So, and they said they could print it in quantities less than 100. So we could print, I said, I was interested in between 20 and 50 of them, and they said that would be fine. So we could do that in a lot smaller quantity, but then it would be a non-biodegradable virgin material item, which I was trying to avoid and would like to avoid. That's part of what I wanted to propose in the discussion, because the natural fiber options do have a hard minimum of like 100, at least so far that I've been able to find.
So with the natural based product,
Mhm.
yeah, what kind of durability does that have compared to?
Gosh,
It's not that these things are gonna get worn and torn every day.
Right,
But,
right.
but that is, are they gonna, last for 5 years versus 20 years?
So I have one of those in my business from Austin, Texas. It's bamboo and it was actually engraved and this was from 2016.
So-
And yeah, it looks primo condition now. It's just hanging. It's not like banging against things.
Well,
but
but
It looks,
these things are gonna get worn a handful of times.
right.
yeah, it looks.
So I guess a good comparison would be like 100% cotton versus polyester shirts. Like, I don't think you'll see.
I'm not trying to steer you one way or the other. I
No.
think
Good question.
that is a consideration and
Right. I wouldn't expect them to have a noticeably shorter lifespan. I imagine the thing that would be more likely to damage either of them was getting like cut or torn or something like that, which I think would affect them both the same.
Any type of product.
Right. Right.
Do you know if Freethink can they order the bamboo option?
Yeah, and that's what I'd asked them about, and they can, but their supplier for that has those same constraints for them.
Oh, so they have to buy 100. So
Exactly.
Would you be opposed to the idea of for this particular convention? If we just went to a t-shirt printer and had them print a logo on a t-shirt, I mean, it'd be more costly for just 7 of us, you know, and such, but
Sure.
you know, different sizes. Put a badge right here on the t-shirt and boom, boom, boom. Hey, here we go.
Personally, I think I would prefer if we're going to not get the lanyards in time to maybe just print the badges. And then we could use whatever lanyards you guys have available for this year, because I think the badges we could definitely get in time. And we could at least have like a logo that says Citizens
Yeah.
Advisory Committee. And that would serve the same purpose. And then we could just switch the badges to the future lanyards if we do end up getting those. That's my take.
I'd have to ask Joey which one it is, but we had shirts printed for staff when we rebranded. So there is one of the shirt companies in town already has the graphics and everything ready to go.
It's good to know.
I personally like pocket t-shirts.
I mean, they have the graphic, they
Yeah.
tell what kind of shirt you want it on, and then
Right.
you would want to add CAC or Citizens Advisory Committee above or below the logo on the front. So,
I've used Freethink a lot. I mean, they're reasonable and they've changed the names a couple times. I think they were 1818 Apparel or something like that, and they, 2 companies merged.
18 hours, yeah, that I remember, I didn't know if it was.
Okay, but I didn't think moved, they weren't down there no more.
No, I believe they're part of Freethink now.
Ability of just buying the raw materials online and just taking it to Freethink.
Think about that.
I'd say, here's the
Right,
materials.
right. I guess I also didn't find outside of Freethink any lanyard companies that offered natural fiber lanyards without minimum.
If you want, look on Amazon. We have an Amazon business account.
Okay,
So with most of that stuff, if they've got what you're looking for, we generally can get it in 2 days.
okay. I will check with Freethink on that, because that,
Not knowing if they could just get a sheet and then cut
Right.
it in, you know, cut them out at that size and then print, or if
right.
somebody already has those cut out in a quantity, that makes more sense.
At least for the badges, I did find, okay, for the badges, I did find 2 other vendors that aren't Freethink that do produce them at $2 with only like a 10 badge minimum. So that I could order very easily. We could potentially just make approve an allocation of a certain amount now. And then I could provide the cost of the materials. And like I said, I did get a quote for 50 badges from one of them that was straight $2 each. So that would be $100 to be able to print 50 badges if we wanted to go that route.
And those are the badges with the materials that you feel are the best.
Yeah, they were just cardboard, unlaminated, surface printed. So that was what I thought would be, something biodegradable, but also I think pretty hardy because I took the paper. And I maybe will try to zoom in enough so if you can see it. Yeah, it shows up. I was envisioning just having the badge look roughly like that, where it's the logo without the text on the background. And just the Citizen Advisory Committee in the foreground, either, so it's not what I wanted to have. You can do horizontal or vertical. Personally, I like the vertical ones.
That one,
Yeah.
having worn a lot of these,
Okay. They hang there.
the vertical one
Yeah.
will wear better.
Okay. Any objections to the vertical option? Okay, cool, noted. That sounds good.
And so if we're going to approve an expenditure, there needs to be a motion made.
Right,
And
Yeah.
X amounts that kind of both taken and recorded, so.
oh yeah. That, oops, All said. Yeah.
We need to make sure which option we're making a motion on.
No, right, and that's what you guys were just doing
Yeah.
there.
Right.
Okay, so we like the vertical. And then are we talking about the 50 at $2 with the press paper?
Are you back in team?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also just stopped my share.
Yeah, but then now there's a new participant there. And I can't, it's too far away. I can't see the letters, so I didn't know who it was. I just saw the W.
Okay, so based on timing, do we feel that the 50 at $2 without the lanyard, but the badges, the press paper is the best option?
I think we could also, if you wanted to, if it was reasonable to set like a ceiling on the cost of lanyards. So that if I find something between now and like the next few days, thinking about going back to Freethink and finding other sources, so that we can also have an approval for funding for the lanyards up to a certain cost.
Okay.
So I would say if we were to do,
Stipulate on the lanyards that they be bamboo, some sort of natural material.
And don't be smoking your lanyard either.
I mean, I just do that because that was part of what you originally brought up, was
Yeah.
trying to find
right,
a natural fiber.
that's up to the group. If we want to have a hard constraint on not getting them if they're not natural, or having it just as a priority for them to be natural.
Your call. I was just,
I think it makes sense to be a priority. But if we can't, once again, I have plenty of lanyards that I'm happy to give away for that use. So that we're reusing something that's just sitting
That's
there.
part of the reduce, reuse, recycle part.
And with next year's budget or later this year, we could find those specific ones, but based on the time frame, it makes sense to have something that didn't have nothing. That's what I
Right.
take.
Have you-
Sure.
Okay. So for the badge, you're saying approve it
Yes.
or propose to approve it. And then for the lanyards, do you want to approve only if a natural fabric lanyard can be found?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
because we have options for lanyards otherwise that aren't gonna cost anything.
Yeah.
okay.
sure.
In that case, I will move that we appropriate $100 for,
Is that gonna include shipping and everything else? You just wanna say 250, and if you don't use all of that,
yes, so it would be 100 for the badges, and it would be 150 for the lanyards, plus 50, I don't know what to estimate.
100 for what?
So 100 for badges, 150 for lanyards,
That's 250.
and that would be at a minimum, yeah. And 50 for shipping and setup fees would be,
$300.
does that seem like a reasonable amount to propose?
it does.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I trailed off with my motion. So I'm gonna move that we allocate $100 for badges, 150 for lanyards, 50 for shipping and setup fees, for a total of $300. Provided that lanyards of natural material can be found for custom printing.
I will second that.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll now have a roll call vote.
All right, John Arnold,
Yes.
Matt Austin,
Yes.
Bill Billings,
Yes.
Brad Lucas,
Yes.
Paul White.
Yes.
Joseph Winnie is also a yes.
Six and nothing, that motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else on this topic?
I was just gonna say that I will follow up with that and see what I can find with Freethink and potential other sources for less than 100 count natural material lanyards. And I will probably let you know by email.
Any additional questions? Okay, moving on. Last on new business is One Sustainable Joe's update on the back dirt.
I'll do one more screen share. You can bear with me for a second. All right. So as you may recall, we've talked about in the past, I am administering a composting program designed for multifamily housing. It has been running for almost exactly 1 year, actually, as of yesterday. So thank you. 1 year anniversary of the first participating site. There are 4 sites in operation, and the program does have scale at every site so that everybody who's participating can weigh in their material. Now, I already know for a fact that not all material has been weighed. Stated to me by participants, and it shows up in the data. So just want to make that clear. That said, everything that has been entered so far is 3,600 pounds. So 3/4 of 2 tons, or 1.5 tons. That's almost 1,000 pails of participants being added. And there are currently 82 active participants. So you can kind of see it on the screen share. This is a monthly breakdown of the weights, where the top line is 600 pounds.
And what, month or whatever was that?
Sorry?
May, June, July.
Oh, so the first high one is May, and the last high one is August.
So the ending and the beginning of school
Well,
at IU.
there have been sites that were added in April, 2 of them actually. So that's, so it's from January to February, that's where you see a site being added. So there's a jump from those 2.
All right,
And then from April to May, there were 2 sites added. So that's where you see a jump from about
Right.
200 pounds to 560 pounds.
okay.
The dips that you see, I think, are mostly caused by one of the sites, which I'll scroll down a little bit. You can see probably a little hard here, it's a little bit easier here. Site number 2 has been one of the largest generators, and you can see their numbers are quite a bit up and down. They range from about 100 to 275 pounds in a given month.
So people are good at reporting 1 month and not good at.
That's basically it. What they've described verbally to me is that their waste generation, they feel, is pretty consistent, but I have seen months where 40% of the days don't have waste entered, and they said they add daily.
So how does the information get entered?
So there is a QR code and a page on the website, essentially. And everybody who signs up has a participant ID. So they weigh it, they enter their ID on the webpage and their weight and hit submit every time they enter. So I just have a database on this website on the back end that shows that data. So there should be an entry for every time someone adds material. That's what generates.
my phone, I can't enter it.
There's plenty of that, yeah.
Okay.
Or you dump it and then you realize I didn't weigh it, and there's really no going back. Once it's out, it's done.
Estimate.
What's that?
You estimate.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Yes, you feel like adding.
Better than not adding anything.
Right, true. So there is also, it's gonna be hard to see here, but you can see there's a pretty big difference in the weights added on any given site, even if there's a similar number of participants. So it's been,
Do you have a thing or it's an internal weigher when you go to dump it or whatever you do that tells you exactly how much is in there as far as it goes?
negative. So there's just one hanging scale that hangs the pail of material where it goes in. For that, there's no record.
Okay.
So total amount of carbon-rich material not recorded. It's really just what's coming out of pails from kitchens, houses,
Okay.
when people enter it. So, well, that said, that's kind of where it stands now. One site's just finished its 1 year. And then the city and district have agreed already to incorporate into the next year's budget continued funding for 6 additional sites. So there's an opportunity for it to continue to grow. And I'm also recently in talks with, oh my gosh. Yes, thank you. Harmony School. Yes, we can touch base on that afterwards. Harmony reached out to me. They have a green committee that They have been for a long time interested in coming up with food waste solutions for their facility. And so I met with them. We're talking about potential ways to adapt this because obviously it's designed for multifamily housing, which is a very different model from a school. So we had exchanges about ways it could work, ways where there will be difficulties, and kind of going back and forth now on arranging an agreement and also making sure that it fits within the district's contract for the funding, and then making any adjustments if needed to make sure it's all copacetic.
Nice.
So that is where it stands, where it's looking. Any questions or additional questions?
What other sites have you looked at?
So the obvious ones are 3 of the 4 participants have other properties.
Oh,
And they have expressed interest already in adding to their other properties and have basically just been waiting for the pilot process to go through and see how it looks.
so they're looking at this as a value add for their community.
Correct.
To the point where they might advertise that.
Abodes has been since they started. Actually, they added a page to their site and said we're composting with One Sustainable Joe. And one of the signups who joined just this past week said that's how they found out about the program.
Wow.
Doing a web search and finding the Abodes page that says they're composting.
Wow.
So are they, when they're composting, are they completing the composting or are you having to pick it up and take it somewhere?
They are doing it all on site. There are participants who are signed up to maintain the material, and the, I guess, combination of participants and property managers own the finished product.
Okay.
So that's part of the process, is distributing the finished product, and it goes to whomever is signed up, and the sign up has a question asking if you are interested in finished compost. All of the site leads know who would like the final product, so they can distribute it to everybody.
Any other questions or comments? Nope. I just want to commend you on all the hard work,
Thank you.
and I'm very grateful for what you're doing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. No other new business. Public comment. Each member of the public will have 4 minutes to speak. Please indicate your desire to comment by raising your hand function in Teams or tapping the chat, and you'll be called on the order that your request is received. Anybody?
Do not see any members of the public on team.
Okay. All right. Reminder, the next regular meeting is Thursday, October 17th, 2024 at 5:30. That is during fall break. So please let me know if you are not going to be here, so that if we don't have quorum, I will cancel. And that is in Showers Building North, room 100B. And if there is no objection to this meeting, we will adjourn.
What time do we start?
6:15. Yes. Seeing no objection, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for bearing with us during our technical difficulty.
Hey, is this gonna be so I can watch the rebroadcast?
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be about 45 minutes of